What's up, you guys? This is Ray from Air Ride Equipment, and we have a full breakdown on our WK2 chassis kit. That's a kit that we developed back in 2014. It's 100% bolt-on. It's good for your Dodge Durangos, for your Jeep SRT8s, the Grand Cherokees, as well as the TrackHawk.
So, doing illegal stuff as always. Look at this though. Pretty nasty.
It's a complete bolt-on system. We're going to show you what comes in the package. We're going to show you how to install it. Check it out. We've laid out the complete bag and bracket assembly, the way that it comes, the way that it's packaged up, and we're actually going to go through the complete bag and bracket assembly for the front and the rear with you guys step by step. The opening of the packages, and of course the assembly and the way it works. All right, let's get to it. We've separated the front system so we can explain the way it works, but what you can expect to get in the packaging is all of the hardware, some spacer tubes, upper billet brackets that house the original upper top hat. It goes right into there. And then lower billet brackets that slip over the strut, 2 strut bags. We're gonna put all this stuff together and show you the way it works. It's a simple bolt-on application. There's only one part you're gonna trim. We're gonna explain everything to you right now. We've separated one of the front end assemblies so that we can show you the way that it goes together. We're actually gonna assemble this with you right now. So this airbag, the airbag has one side that has a threaded port, and the other side just has a dummy hole for the alignment of the machine. We want to make sure that we find the threaded port side. That's going to be our bottom side of the bag. Also, the bag has print on it and the writing goes upright, so it's super simple. The upper bracket is one that bolts right on. Grab our Allen there. With the provided hardware, these bolts are going to fall right in. Take your Allen, and you're just gonna center them on the holes, slightly start both of them before tightening either one of them all the way down. And so you can just mock that up for us. And when you do this, you just want it to be a little bit past hand tight. There's no real torque specs, but they don't need to be anything too great. If you want to, you could take your Allen and just give it a torque, and really honestly that's all it needs. Of course, if you wanted to add a little blue Loctite to the nuts and bolts, you could, but never use the red Loctite. It'll be impossible to take this apart. All right, so we have the front on there. We're gonna flip it over. Let's go ahead and put the bottom one on there. You can see that he's lined the cutout with the port side, the threaded port side of the bag. And same process, start them both first before you tighten them all the way up. Then we're just gonna tighten these up for you. We're gonna cinch it down a little bit. And that's it. I know it sounds crazy, but that's it. This small spacer tube is optional, and it goes on the bottom side of the strut if needed, depending on the size wheels you have. So bigger wheels, you might not need it at all. Smaller wheels, you might need it, or vice versa, depending on how you want to set your vehicle up to lay all the way out. Anyways, this is optional, and it can also be trimmed, and that fits right in there, presses in there permanently. Once it's on the strut, it'll sit this way over the strut. This is the finished assembly, and there's only one last part to talk about. And that last part that we're gonna be talking about is trimming the upper top hat. So you have a top hat that's gonna come on the vehicle. The top hat's literally going to sit inside of this machined area. You wanna trim the bottom side of the top hat until it sits flush. It's just that simple. There's a small black cone that's on the bottom of the top hat. You're just trimming it so that it sits flush with this billet bracket. And then you bolt this right back in the original location, and that's it. You're good to go. That's the complete front end. We have the rear bag and bracket assembly set up for you to check it out. This is the way it comes packaged up. You're gonna have a large circle plate a little bit smaller but still large circle plate. This one's even larger than this one. All of your hardware and the cups. These cups are actually going to fit right on the body where the original nipple is that houses the coil spring. These have been machined to pop right on those. We're going to open this up and show you how it goes together. We've separated the rear, one side of the rear, so we can show you how to assemble it. You're going to start with your bag, and the same thing, you're going to look for the threaded part of the port that's threaded. One side has just a dummy port that they use for the machine when they make it. And that's going to be our upside. That's where our air fitting's going to go and all that good stuff. Now we have a bracket that's been machined to fit exactly over the stock nipple where the original coil spring houses to the bottom side of the car. This is going to work the same way. It's actually going to press and pop in there. It's pretty cool. We're going to use 2 of the supplied bolts to actually go into these holes here. Right here it's easier to see that they're threaded, these 2 holes, and that's what's going to assemble this together. So I'm going to have Augie put that together for us right now. I'm going to drop those in there, sorry. I'm going to drop them in there. And we're going to watch him put that together, and then I'm going to explain the bottom the way it works. It's actually super simple as well. Now you can see that he's got his hand way in there to get those started, and we always want to do the same process. Before tightening one side up all the way, we want to get both of the bolts started. Okay, he's going to get in here and tighten that. I'm going to hold it for him. And then again, it doesn't need to be crazy tight, just beyond hand tight if that's possible with the wrench. You just want to get it really snugged in there, and that's all it takes. All right. So now we're going to go to the bottom side. The bottom side is going to use this big old plate that says Jeep SRT, I guess RL. I'm not really sure what that's for, but rear left. They're not rear left. They're both for the rear. It's like an outtake. Jeep SRT rear lower. What's going on? Anyway, so you're going to want to grab this bracket with the stamp on it, and we're also going to line it up with these holes. Now, here's where it gets a little different. We're going to be stacking a plate system on here. So it comes with a long piece of all thread. That piece of all thread first goes into the bag, all the way into the bag until it's tight. Once that's tight, we're just going to kind of wrench down this nut with a wrench right on there. Get it a little tighter and we're good. Oh, thank you. Now you have your full bag assembly for the rear. The stock control arm has a hole in it. This stud will go through that hole in the control arm. Then you're just going to use this big old plate like a washer with your lock nut at the end. So very simply said, the lower control arm physically goes through here and the top presses into the vehicle. And that's your whole assembly right there, ready to go.
So, doing illegal stuff as always. Look at this though. Pretty nasty.
That concludes our short, quick breakdown on the bolt-on system for your WK2 chassis, Dodge or Jeep. Even the TrackHawks use this kit. We've sold them all over the country so far. If you need a kit or you have any questions, give us a call.